Okay, awesome. Now, guys, the title of this is Fill Your Pipeline with Clients, 90 Days to Freedom. There's a reason why I call it that. A reason why I say 90 days to freedom. And I'll give you this illustration from, because I've noticed this just in general, this principle. But when I used to run a cell phone repair store, what I used to do was I would market really, really hard for a week. And then all of a sudden I would have a bunch of people the next week come and get their phones fixed. And I had no time to do any marketing. So then naturally the next week was slow. And then I'd have to work really, really hard that whole week. And then the next week it was back and forth. It was like slow marketing, busy with phones, busy with marketing, just back and forth. And that was a lower ticket item in an agency. It's typically the work that we're doing now, we're going to see the benefits from it 30, 60, 90 days out. And so I wanted to kind of promise out, over deliver. So I put 90 days to freedom. And this goes a lot with prospecting. The things that we're doing now are going to affect us more so in the future. And it's funny, you will see immediate results in a lot of instances, but it will feel so much easier 90 days from now. So like, for instance, when I first started my agency, I got really, really good results, but I'll be honest with you, 3 months later, it was much easier. It's like that snowball was already moving downhill. It was already moving down. So it was much easier to land clients, and that's how it is. So let me go through just my normal webinar spiel here. Let's see if I can get this thing going. So I want to talk to you guys real quick about who this webinar is for, because I got a lot of different people. Maybe not all of you guys know who I am, what I teach. You just saw 90 Days to Webinar. This webinar, if you are looking to make millions without working, this is not for you. This is not your webinar. This is a webinar from a guy who works his butt off with his agency, does really, really well with it, but he works. So if you're not looking to work, you should exit out of this. You won't gain any benefit. Like, there is no magic button that I'm going to teach you to push that the second you push it, you have income flowing in. If you're looking to copy and paste links all day, this is also not for you. And guys, I'm speaking to a ClickFunnels group, so you guys all know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, how often do we see people put a message, is it true that if I just get ClickFunnels, I can make tons of money? And all of us who have been doing this for a while, we're like, what in the world is this guy's problem? Like, this is an easy concept. You have to work. A ClickFunnels is just a tool. Like, you actually have to have something, to use it for. There's so many different things you can use it for. So you know what I'm talking about, those affiliate people. Not that there's anything wrong with affiliate marketing, but there's a lot of people who think it's just going to be easy. But if you feel like right now, regardless of what you do, the clear path to making a lot of money seems blurred, or you cannot figure out how to get clients to actually pay you on a ton of money for lead generation, then this is absolutely for you. Now, I put that picture up there for a little while, and you guys might have been thinking, like, what in the world is that about? Like, why is there a picture of these glasses with the person shaking hands? I feel like this illustrates very well how most digital marketers live their life online. They see people doing deals. They see people making money as an agency, but they don't see a clear path on how to do it. They don't really understand the ins and outs. And in reality, they go take a course, and that course might focus on specific things that has a lot of golden nuggets. It might focus on, running ads and funnels and this and that. But those courses don't really take people through that step-by-step implementation of how to get that deal where you're shaking that hand. So the goal in this webinar, and my promise today, is that if you guys stay through this entire webinar, I'm hoping I will give you several epiphany opportunities. So where you're like, oh, or that's true, maybe just a real self-reflection, looking in the mirror, honest reflection with yourself. And I'm going to show you guys the path to landing clients, and I'm going to teach you guys one simple technique to landing more and more clients. So if you stay through this webinar, that's what you're going to get. And I also got some more goodies for you at the end. I'm going to give everybody who stays through this whole webinar, they're going to get 1 month free in my mastermind group. And they're also going to get a free template it's a funnel for their ClickFunnels account, and it's an agency theme. So you just download it in, you get a website. But that's my promise to you guys. And I don't want to waste your time. I know that if you sit through this webinar, and some of you guys, this is probably the second or third, fourth webinar you've seen of mine. So that means you guys trust my content thus far. But if you guys sit through this whole thing and at the end you're like, well, that was a bunch of garbage, then you're never going to come and sit through any of my webinars again. So I'm not going to waste your time. I hope that this is the beginning of an actual relationship where you and I, each and every one of you guys, can start to help you grow your agencies as I grow mine, because I'm still growing my agency. So quick bio about me, guys. I'm not one of those guys who does tons of screenshots. As you know, I'm just not very materialistic. I don't like to brag about certain things, but I have to do this because some of you guys who don't know me, I want you to at least know about my credibility. But I'm a self-made entrepreneur who has one desire, and that's to help businesses and help people to attain freedom, taking the same path I did. Now, I've owned several brick and mortar businesses. I owned a guitar shop for a few years. I opened a cell phone repair shop. I just sold that this past year in January. I opened a secondary cell phone repair shop in Brookfield, Wisconsin, which tanked and did absolutely terrible. So I'm not doing this whole rags to riches junk. Like, we've all been at the bottom. We all have good moments. Who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, if I was an idiot with my money and I didn't invest it properly, you know, it was like, who knows what can happen. The point is this is what's working now. So I'm not going to take you guys through a rags to riches story. I kind of can't stand that junk. It's kind of getting overused. It's a psychology move. I get it. Maybe that's why I'll never have a huge, 2,000 people flowing into a course after one webinar, but I'm just not into that stuff. So right now I currently run a marketing agency. To be completely transparent, I only have 29 clients, but they're all paying between $1,500 and $9,000 each. I just landed a pretty big client, and they're going to be spreading me out to potentially 140 dealers at max over 2018, and they were all quoted between $1,500 and $2,200 a month. So this agency is booming. It's growing. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think that I'm a client acquisition expert. I've been in sales, guys. Even though digital marketing hasn't always been my business, I've been in sales since I was 14. And my father, as the district sales or national sales manager of his company, he's had sales stuff laying around in literature since I was, coming out of the womb. And so I feel like it was imprinted in my brain. And so when I got into this agency, I looked around and I saw everybody around me struggling. And I didn't realize that until I got into it, because most gurus will hide that part from you. And once I got into it, like, I have all this success going on around me. And then I'm looking around, I'm like, why are all these people not landing clients? And I found out that it's just because of some things that we're about to go over in this webinar that are really affecting people. This year, guys, I've already helped over 90 students to start landing clients through these methods that I'm about to teach you guys today. So before we get started, if you guys could do me a favor, because I was up till 3 in the morning editing slides and things like that. I know it doesn't look amazing, but I really wanted to deliver for you guys today. But please eliminate all the distractions. I can't teach you guys anything if you're only halfway listening, if you're kind of like building funnels while you're listening. Close all your tabs, messengers, texting, all of that stuff. I'm about to change your game. Point is, I'm about to give you a game. And that's really what it comes down to. Some of you guys, I want you to figure out where you're at. Are you sitting on the sidelines watching the game, or are you actually playing? And you can't say you're actually playing unless you're making money, just so you guys know, in this industry. A lot of people say I own an agency and they have hardly any clients. That's not game. So I'm going to help you guys with a game. So for those of you guys who want to take this seriously, I want to show you something. And in all transparency, this guy has been following me for a little while, but his name's Jordan Stevenson. He watched my webinar, watched all my free content, didn't even take my program, didn't even take my course. And he went on to do $50,000 a month in 60 days. Now, in all transparency, I gave a lot more free, deeper value back then. I was trying to grow my tribe. Now it's kind of gone more to just helping people on the surface level with their agencies. And when they want to get deep, they have to get into my program because my time just isn't there. So it's very unlikely that anybody's going to be able to replicate that off of just that stuff. But the stuff I'm going to teach you in this webinar, you can absolutely take to go replicate that. It really came down to action and him not fumbling his way through it. But it was amazing when he told me, dude, I've used your techniques and look where I'm at. So before I start teaching you stuff, we have to correct your vision, as you saw in that picture before, on how all of this works. because you're going in these groups all day, these ClickFunnels groups, you're asking questions, you're taking advice, you're seeing people post things. And in all honesty, most of the guys giving you advice do this for a living. This is what they do. And they play video games, and you say, that might sound great. That's awesome. They might even market that's what they do. But the majority of the people in that ClickFunnels group, I love ClickFunnels, I love community, but you'll notice that I typically post more than I engage. And it's not just for self-promotion, it's to try to combat the crap, but I don't want to get in fights. Is most of the people who give agency advice or have a course, in reality, they don't own agencies and they don't do this for a living. Maybe they work with 1 or 2 clients. That is not owning an agency. That is a hobby. That is a hobby. And I want to tell you something about those kinds of people is that they get beat out by people like me, people who actually work. You can go do that. You might get lucky and land a client for a month. You won't retain people. You will not. I know people who went, they did for instance, I just heard a story about a guy who over 2 to 3 months did $75,000 in clients. Right now, he has not one paying client. Not one paying client. Why? Because he's not really running an agency. These guys here, not the guy I was just talking about. The guy I was just talking about is actually a cool guy. But these guys who do this, where they give you this agency advice, they are self-entitled morons who think they know everything. I mean, if some of you guys are over 30 watching this, I promise you that you have typically more principle work ethic than almost anyone. I shouldn't say that because there's some really hardworking younger people. I'm only 27, but there are so many young people who are pretending to be rich. And it's funny because like a guy the other day posted a picture of, his house that he's happy that he got. And I reversed it and he's bragging about how he bought it. It was a rental, which is fine. I think it's fine to rent a home. I prefer to rent. I don't have to take care of all the junk on it or, whatever. The idea behind it though, is that people like to put on a facade. They're not completely transparent with you on who they are. So here's a good example of that, guys. I want to tell you of how you can people like me are just crushing people like that. So I met a chiropractor at State Fair this past summer. I went to State Fair to see Hart play. Hart was playing at the Washington County Fair. And I meet this chiropractor who's there. And we start talking and so forth. And he tells me how he just signed up with this lady here. And after looking at her profile, I could clearly kind of figure out who she was, what kind of agency owner she was. Signed her up for a 3-month, or she signed him up on a 3-month contract, really good amount of money too that she was making. I don't want to disclose it in case you guys go and find her. Well, anyways, me and him start developing a relationship because I add him on Facebook right away. I know he's in a contract, but I start adding him on Facebook. He sees my content. He sees all my videos, my things that I do. We're talking back and forth here and there. He sends me this message this past Monday. He says, and I actually had to make a joke. Sorry, Jenny. He said, my contract is up with Jenny at the end of the week. Definitely want to hear what you have to offer, how your ad process works with pricing, setup, contract, etc. Possibly do a call tomorrow morning sometime. So me and him actually met up. I drove out to his office because he's fairly local. Met out at his office on Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember. Had a really good discussion. Turns out she set it and forget it. She set his ads up. She never touched him again. It was just like those guys who were playing games. He couldn't communicate with her. She wasn't really running a good business with him. And you know what happened? This is me receiving his payment on the 15th. So literally within 2 days of him sending that message to me, it was $2,000. PayPal takes its fees. But within 2 days of him sending me that message, I had a sale closed, a $2,000 a month client. Guys, you cannot compete with me if you're playing Xbox. You cannot compete with me if you're trying to pretend you're living the laptop life. I promise I will crush you. That is what happens. And if you guys want to learn my formula to crushing people, scaling, and being sustainable, because the fact of the matter is you see these guys do these things, and it's not sustainable. Maybe they did do $10,000 in a month. It's not sustainable. If you're like me, I have a kid, another kid on the way. I don't want to do a $10,000 month. I want to do $10,000 every month. I want to keep going at it. I want to do 20, 30, 40. I want to keep going at it every single month. I don't want to do it just in 1 month. And that's the point. So this is what I did. I let you guys, and this is why I think that this webinar is so beneficial. I let you guys tell me what the pain was. I put out a post, several of them over the last few days in ClickFunnels groups and my own groups on my wall, ran polls, and I wanted to figure out what is your pain. And then I had my own epiphany moment. So here is something that I found out. Everyone was clear. Almost everyone was suffering from the same exact issues. And what happens is most of these gurus, they ask your pain just the same way I did. But instead of helping you address that pain and cure it, they just give you a temporary fix that doesn't work. So I'm going to be going through some examples of this, but think about like medicine. You know, say you're running a fever because you're sick. Your body uses that fever to fight the sickness, and that's how it gets that infection out of your body. But if you take a fever reducer, your sickness gets prolonged, actually. And so a lot of the little hacks that they teach you, and I kind of don't like that word hacks because then you become a marketing hack. But all these little shortcuts and hacks they teach you, they eventually come right back around to the same original pain point. They just got you excited for a little bit. Maybe you guys can connect with that. Maybe you guys are like, yeah, I understand that. That's where I'm at. If so, that is absolutely the case. Now, just before I keep going here, I want to ask you guys, is everybody understanding this? Does everyone get where I'm going? Has anybody felt the same exact pains? Please put a message up in the chat box. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know how you guys are doing with this. I'm not good at cold calling because I'm shy and you're scared. It's funny that this is a pain because I always look so deep into like what the real root problems are in businesses. I always look so deep as to what the pain points are in a business. But in reality, it's a very simple pain point that people are not addressing. And I know why. This is what the gurus have done about this. They say things like land easy Facebook ad clients that pay. I like it. Andre says no pain, no gain. So they say things like land easy Facebook ad clients that pay, or get your clients on demand. Or how about this one? Cold calling puts the ball in their court. So you guys have probably read Expert Secrets. In Expert Secrets, this is a psychology strategy, and it's, we're just kind of breaking this all down. Russell Brunson says that what you want to do is take the reason they failed. This is how you do a new opportunity rather than an improvement offer. And you basically say, take that blame away from them, which I'm actually technically doing this right now if you think about it, but I'm doing it morally. You take that blame away from them, and then you try to steer them in a direction that is more pleasurable. Think about it. If you hate cold calling, don't that sound amazing? Get your clients on demand, land Facebook ad clients. But the problem is the methods that they teach, which I'll show you, they don't really work. But these sort of comments come from gurus without an agency. Now, you might think, oh my gosh, a guru without an agency? Yes, most of these gurus who are really doing well with their courses, the ones who are really doing well with their courses, a lot of them have very minimal clients. Maybe they have 2 to 3 clients to try to legitimize their agency. That is not an agency. That is a hobby. When you start getting 5, 10, 20, 15 clients, 25, 30, you keep going, that's an agency. Otherwise, you're just a guy who runs Facebook ads for 3 businesses. And so they don't really understand how to run a business. They don't know how to scale an agency because they've never done it. But they're good at marketing a course and sitting on their Xboxes. If it was so easy, I want to ask you guys, when I just exit out, there are 28 of you guys on here. If it was so easy, then why are you watching this webinar right now? Some of you guys have been going at this for 6 months, 3 months, 12 months. If you guys don't mind, put in the chat box, how long have you guys been going at your agencies? I want to see who, a competition here. I want to see who has been going at it the longest. Just put it in here. Okay, Dave Williams is 6 months. Let's see who else. I want to see how long you guys have been doing it. You guys see where, and I know you guys agree with me on this because you see it. You might have been trying to blind yourself for a long time, but this is really, in reality, this is, a pretty common thing where these gurus are, okay, let's see here, 13 months still living like a vagrant. Okay, so I see all this stuff here. So let's talk about the honest truth, guys, the cure. And it's funny, I put this guy up here because everyone says, Ross, you look just like that guy. And in reality, I guess I kind of do look a little bit like this guy. I haven't even seen this movie, though. Cold calling is amazing. It's the truth. The more vulnerable and unpolished you sound, the more genuine you come off. So you guys are like, oh, I'm scared, but I don't want to cold call, whatever. The thing is if you become really polished, all of a sudden you sound like a cold caller. People hang up on you. When you're unpolished and vulnerable, like the students of mine who are unpolished and vulnerable, they get more appointments set up because people are like, okay, this sounds like a real legitimate person. Doesn't sound like somebody who's done this 300 times today and would keep talking. Like, you don't want to sound like someone pulled the string and you went. People enjoy working with vulnerable, real, genuine people. Do not be scared to cold call. If you're scared, it's going to help you. If you're nervous, it's going to help you. I promise you that this is here, your first mental barrier that we're breaking down today, that you've been scared of cold calling. You've been avoiding it by going all these other client acquisition methods that work but are not sustainable. Cold calling is sustainable. It's funny. When I came into doing digital marketing back at the beginning of this year, which you might be saying, how is this guy teaching us if he's only been doing this a year? Listen, here's the thing. I've been in sales my whole life, and I'm not teaching you guys how to run ads. I'm teaching you sales. But when I came in at this to start selling digital marketing, what I noticed was that everything was all designed to make it sound easy. Let's see here. This guy, Andre, says, I had a mentor who would intentionally make mistakes in his presentations to be more relatable. Exactly. And even people will put misspellings in their cold emails just to be more relatable. So you don't have to be scared, guys. What you need is a basic outline to follow. And when you use a script or an outline to follow, you will absolutely get results, especially if you use mine. I don't even need to go over it in this because it's in like my other webinars. You guys have seen that script before. That's not the only script. That's actually the beginner script that I teach. We move into more advanced stuff in the program. But when you start following this stuff, you start seeing results. Let me show you. How does this method work? How has it been working for people? Let's take just a quick example here of David. David, one of my students, David French, dude went quite some time with the similar fears we just talked about and took several courses to try to land clients. Absolutely no avail. So after just a really short time in my program, he lands a client, $1,250 a month, 6-month deal, just using these methods I teach. Super ecstatic. So I like to reach out to people, even though he's no longer got the one-on-one coaching with me. We still talk and still do stuff, here and there. I said to him just the other day, said, hey man, how's the agency? His comment, hey man, doing pretty great. 2 clients signed on, 2 deciding if they want to move forward, 3 on trial. It's kind of growing faster than I wanted it to. He did exactly what I taught, where you only offer a free trial just to land your first client, and then you just use referrals to, chase that vein of gold. This guy found a vein of gold that just keeps going and going and going. This guy is going to land clients very quickly. He will be at $10,000 a month, my guess, by the end of this year. And he started with me about 4 months ago. That is a real sustainable business. The trick to a sustainable business, I'm okay if you only land 1 to 2 clients the first month, but that you keep landing clients as you go, that you don't do something all of a sudden, make a bunch of sales and then it just tapers off and you never do it again. That's what a lot of people do online. Let's talk about pain point number 2. I cannot find clients that are willing to pay me. That's what people say. I cannot find clients that are willing to pay me. So what have the gurus done about this? Well, they talk about the client acquisition funnel. They offer free trials on your Facebook wall or go into Facebook groups of your niche. Now, I want to address each one of these really quickly individually. So the client acquisition funnel. Client acquisition funnel works, but you have to do it just right. You have just the right amount of testimonials. And also, it takes a long time. You don't launch it and typically tomorrow you got paying clients. It takes time. So I teach some client acquisition funnel techniques that work, but the ones that I teach, they're not so much, clients on demand. What it is it's like the machine running in the background of your business, but you really shouldn't have a client acquisition funnel until you've worked with 6 or 7 businesses. That's the honest truth. This part about offering free trials on your Facebook wall, it's funny because people will do this, I'm just starting out. I want to work with some people. Is there anybody who's willing to let me run their Facebook ads? You'll get people who respond, and we're about to talk about that, but they don't convert to clients, and you know that. And then when you go into these Facebook groups of a niche, so let's say you're chiropractors, there are more marketers in that group than chiropractors. It's like one of those fish hatcheries where you feed the fish and they're all, eating that. You throw a piece of food in and they're all starving over it. You're going to not really land many clients because you're sitting yourself in that red ocean when you go to those. So let's talk about why offering a trial to all these people don't work. And keep in mind, I do offer free trials, but most people, including business people, are broke. It's true. A lot of these online, like they live week to week, month to month, especially some of the small business owners. But I have found ways to find the right people, find the ones that work. Now, I'll give you a funny illustration or story. One of my buddies, Rob, he does the same thing I do. He said to me, Ross, I'm so ticked off. Guy just pulled up. He had a brand new Corvette, nice suit. He was a realtor, said he wanted to run ads, do lead gen, blah, blah, blah. We met up. I drove out there. We met on LinkedIn. Guy looks like a millionaire, can't afford more than $100 in marketing. It's true. People will dress up nice. They'll put on the show. I mean, look at half the crap on ClickFunnels. Half the people there who are not really making money, but they like to pretend they are. They like to pretend they're landing clients. And so it's really, really hard. You can waste a lot of time with these people. So why I do offer trials to people, I only offer a trial to people who meet the following criteria. Maybe write this down. And you probably already know this, but you're not implementing it. They're currently paying for marketing. They got to be paying a decent amount of money for me to reach out and offer a trial. That doesn't mean I won't work with somebody who's not paying for marketing. I'm just not going to give them a trial. They can, I'll dangle the bait in front, but the chances are that at the end of it, they're probably not going to pay me because they weren't paying anyone before. Now, I don't stereotype. I want to preface that. But if I'm going to cold call people and offer them a trial, it's got to be someone who values marketing. The next thing is I have to be able to get them results in 7 days. It has to be just enough to where like, oh my God, but not enough to satisfy them. They get an adrenaline rush, but not a dopamine release. And the idea here is kind of like if you were to go to Costco and they were sampling something like, let's say they're sampling taquitos or something like that, and you try it, it's like a little taco, and they give you just a teeny little corner of it. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so good. You buy the box. But if they had like 6 or 7 of them sitting there and you ate them all, you'd be satisfied. You'd be like, I don't know if I really want to buy the box. We don't want to satisfy them. We just give them enough to want more. If you can't get that kind of client result in 7 days, you can still work with them. Just don't offer them a free trial. What you have to do is get into a more extensive marketing campaign where you're building their list and it's going to be a higher ticket. It's going to cost them more. You can work with those people. But if you can't get them with the results in 7 days, drop it. Don't do it. That's my advice to you, especially in the beginning if you're working with your own ad spend budget. So here's the cure. It's the real solution. You got to have a system in place. It's the one thing that will allow you to scale. And by having multiple streams of prospects, you guys will never run dry. So here's a model that I teach. It's called the 10K model. It's in my program. But basically, once you plug and play all these pieces, you have a full-scaled agency that's making at least $10,000 a month. But it works step by step. Like you don't even start these 2 client acquisition funnels that you see at the bottom on both sides of the circle until you have all of the C1 through C7 and T1 through T7s filled in. So you got to create a system. Like this was something I drew up on a napkin. And actually the course, the 2.0 that's about to get revised, there's some more techniques because I teach different techniques in it. But first of all, I want to go back to that 10K model. If you do that sort of stuff and you do these techniques that I've been talking to you about and you do it properly, let me show you what you can do. In the first month that I started my agency, I went from $0 to $10.2 thousand in 30 days. I landed only 4 residual paying clients and I upsold them on websites. I no longer like to do a lot of websites because websites are a pain in the butt. I've since 5 times my business. So my agency is growing really, really well. And I want to tell you guys a funny story about, I was talking about I only landed 4 passive clients. I, my whole life, have worked my butt off. So like in cell phone repair, you hustle. And once you fix that phone, that sale is out the door. You're not making residual income on it anymore. So the second month that I was in marketing, I ended up doing, I went out and I upsold people on, and I landed like $18.2 thousand worth of new business doing the same thing I did before. And I was like, wow, I did awesome. I even beat my goal from last year. And then the $4,000 or whatever of passive income from the month before tacked on top of that. I was like, oh my God, because I've never experienced real passive. Like, it's not really it's passive. It is and it isn't, because you work, you update things, but still it's residual income that comes in. Never experienced that before in my life until this business. Even my family's like, what in the world? I'll tell you a funny story. Yesterday, my wife and I went out because we have a second baby on the way, and we're like, we need a minivan. So we bought a minivan. Now, I'll be honest with you, the first like 3 to 4 years of my life, I lived so financially irresponsible as a entrepreneur, and I didn't have a lot of money to pay off stuff, that I don't have the greatest of credit. So the only thing that got us into this vehicle was my income. I had to show them my income statements. Well, first, the guy said to me, because he's filling out the information before he had to see proof of income, he said to me at first, so how much do you make for the pre-approval? And I thought to him, if I tell them how much I make, they're going to think I'm an idiot. They're going to think it's not real. So I dumbed it down a little bit. I said to him, oh, I make $150,000 a year. And even that, he rolled his eyes like, yeah, right. This guy, look at him. He's, in a sweatshirt and jeans. He doesn't make $150,000 a year. In reality, that comes in every 3 months with my business. And so he said, okay, well, do we have proof of income? So then when I pulled out my statements and all that stuff and showed that, he was like, dude, what do you do? He's like, this is more than 100. I was like, I know, but I didn't want to I don't know how this works, especially, I don't know. Point of the matter is he was like, I want to know more about your business. I never experienced that before, but that comes from developing systems, guys. Comes from developing systems. Here's a guy that doesn't even have that great of credit, but his income was amazing, and that was allowed me to be able to get things that we need. It's like, I'm not going out buying Lamborghinis, but I need my day-to-day items. And it gets you that when you have passive income, but you have to have systems. Because if you don't have passive prospects, you won't get passive clients, or I should say residual. If you don't have residual prospects coming in and you don't have residual clients signing on, then you won't get residual income. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you see where I'm going with that? It starts all with a system, not a one-trick pony, a system. Hopefully you guys get that. Let's talk about pain number 3. Clients see the value in what I do, but they still do not hire me. Before I go on, have any of you guys ever experienced this? Please don't be shy. Just say yes, no. You don't actually have to go into a whole spiel. Yes or no. Do you ever feel like you've sat there with a client, they were excited about what you do, but they still didn't hire you? I'd love to see some yeses or nos. Please give me some yeses or nos if you're in here. Talk, tick, tock, tick, tock. Pretty simple. Yes or no? Okay, yes. Andrew, just happened. Pat, yes, many times. Yeah, I mean, this is something that's pretty common. Now, I don't want to rip into you guys because I like all of you guys and you're supporting what I'm doing. Ben says yes. But I want to show you, first of all, what gurus have done about this. Absolutely nothing. See, they don't want you to know about this. They don't even address it because they don't want to bring up pain points. They pretend they don't exist. And then when you have struggle landing clients, what they do is they tell you you're an idiot and that you didn't follow the course properly. Well, I'm here to tell you that maybe you do. The blame should be on you, but they're not even addressing that this is a problem. The strong truth, guys, you have to be worth more to them than their money. I want to repeat that and get this in your brain. You have to be worth more to them than their money. So if you're charging them $2,000, in their mind, you need to be worth $4,000 by what you can do for them. If they are failing to pull the trigger, then you have failed to show your value, shared to show your worth, failed to show your horns. I had a tongue twister there. And you guys got to remember, hunters only shoot the deer they want to take home. And I'm sure I heard that somewhere, but I said that during a coaching call the other day. I was like, wow, I really like that saying. I don't know that I've ever heard anyone say that, but I'm sure I did because I can't just pull that out of thin air. But the point of it is that you see something, and if you really want it, it's going to take a little effort or money. It takes something from you, but you're willing to do it if you want it. And you have failed to show them that. The truth is that if you don't have 100% conviction that your product is what their business needs, you're not going to land many clients. I promise you that. And you might say, well, that's not going to fix it. It's true. It's a mental shift. It really is in your head. It is in your head. Grant Cardone in his book, Sell or Be Sold, I skipped to like the end because I felt like I know you need to be a salesperson. But in Sell or Be Sold, he talked about how he sold his house for way more maybe it was, way more than what it was worth, because he believed it was worth that much. And it's the truth. If you believe something, it's just going to happen. I promise you that. Now, there are skills you need to learn, and those are skills that I teach that help you with that, things that will build your confidence. But if you're just, if you don't have, because the thing is when you don't have case studies, the only thing you have is your conviction. The only thing you have is your confidence. You don't, because you don't have your case studies yet. Your confidence and your conviction can totally sell it. We can give you guys a story about a chiropractor who was willing to pay me $3,000 when he was kind of giving one of the students a hard time about $700. And you'll see I didn't really want to land the client, but you'll see what I did. So there was a chiropractor, one of my students, Isaac, he was working with the guy. The guy was like choosing on this and that, blah, blah. And he was like, I don't even want to pay $700 plus the ad spend, whatever. And I said to him, you know what, man, he sounds like a pain in the butt client. I'm going to try something. And if he doesn't, depending on how he is, we might just ditch him. We might not even want this guy. So I call the guy up pretending to just be another marketer pitching my service. And he's interested because he knows exactly what it is. But after about a 45-minute to an hour-long conversation, he's like, well, why don't I just hire you? And I said, I don't know that you probably can't even afford my service, man. I mean, if you're having a hard time wanting to pay this guy even $1,000, then you're probably not going to you can't afford me. Well, how much I said, I would charge a minimum of $3,000. Well, man, if it doesn't work out with this guy, I'm totally willing to go with you if you can get me results and blah, blah. The guy was willing, he wasn't as scared to pay me $3,000 when he was fighting someone else to pay $700. Now, I didn't even want to land the client. I mean, I typically would charge somebody for the service he needed, maybe $2,000. So I was shooting high, but I didn't really want to land. I was trying to shoot higher than what it was, but it was so weird that he was like ready to use me at a higher amount when this other guy he was fighting with. It comes from the conviction. It comes from your confidence in your product and what, bringing that to the marketplace. If it's, well, it might work. No, you have to be, this is like what you do. This is your life, your blood. That comes from playing Xbox and then trying to go land a client. It's like you just won't gain the conviction that way. This is a real business. So let's talk about this, how you can acquire freedom, guys, in 90 days. Are you guys excited? You guys sat through the 3 pain points. Tell me what you guys think of it so far. Also, let me know if you guys are with me here, if you guys are awake, if you're excited, just give me a yes. I'm ready to learn more. Who's ready? Okay, Dave says great stuff. What else do we got here? Andre said he was pre-qualified. Wasn't my fault. Tyler's with me. Oh, I don't even know if I can say that guy's name. Obaid. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. I'm sorry. Obaid. Okay. Still conscious. Okay. Everyone's good. Pat's good. Ben says yes. Awesome. Thanks for engaging, guys. This is amazing. So I'm going to show you guys how to attain it. Joel says yes. It's all in the numbers. So I teach people physical funnels. You guys have seen that. I teach this from the beginning. It's really just a system. And you think about like a digital funnel, like let's say we're doing a sales funnel. We split test each different page. We find what works. Jared says, I'm here. We figure out which works. And then what we do is at the end, we have a client. We take them through a process that we know works. And at the end, and once you get a good funnel in place, all you have to do is keep driving targeted traffic through it, and you get really consistent results, right? As long as you keep the content good. Let me show you how this works. So I'm using my student averages, and I'm not included in this with these numbers I'm about to show you, because in my program, I train people on cold calls, cold emails, cold voicemail drops, client acquisition funnels between my mastermind and my course. So on average, 1 in 20 cold calls will start a trial. Some people do way better than that, but on average, 1 in 20 cold calls start a trial. And we're just talking about cold calls in this physical funnel here. If we start adding all the other techniques into it, it skyrockets. 1 to 3 trials turn to paid. So 1 out of every 3 trials are going to become a paid client. And so let me show you the process we take them through. And as long as you know your numbers, that's okay. So let's say you call 120 businesses a week. So that's 24 cold calls a day. That means you are going to land 6 trials out of the week, 6 testimonials, and 2 paying clients, and then you'll hopefully get 10 to 12 referrals. From those trials, you can still get referrals. Now, this does not all happen in 1 week. It typically happens over the course of 2 to 3 weeks. But remember at the beginning, I said the efforts you do now affect you later. Those 24 cold calls that you did every day affect you. So you can easily get, just by knowing these numbers, you say, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to follow these. And the formula that I have in my program is amazing, and it's getting revised even. Everyone who's in my program now gets a free upgrade to it, where I'm going to blow people's minds with how to quickly scale their clients. But when you know, okay, I need to do this many cold calls, voicemail drops, whatever, you can almost project how many clients you're going to have at the end of the month. I mean, think about, how would you guys like to have, an extra $3,000 a month? I mean, that's life-changing for some people. It's life-changing, to be able to do that every month, to think that within 3 months you could be at $10,000 a month by following a proven system. Life-changing. So I want you guys to think about something. Did you guys ever imagine that you would be struggling this hard with your agency when you first came into the agency, the business? Can you guys shoot me some messages up here? I want to know, did you guys think it would be this hard? You see people posting things like this in ClickFunnels groups, which gives you really, really like, what do you call it? Like a really optimistic feel. Andre says, no, Dave, no, Joel, you guys did not know it was going to be this hard to do this. When people take things serious and they don't skip anything, they end up like this guy who I showed you at the beginning of the webinar. When they do it the right way, with a formula, with a system in place, they make money. I want to show you guys a few stats. I just cherry-picked 3 clients, or 3 students, and they're not even the most successful ones. They're just ones who are doing good and consistent. So David, you saw him before he joined my program, taken so many different courses, been trying just like you guys for so long. Look at this. Pat says it's been a nightmare. Joel says no. Dave, no. Andrew, no. So everyone says no. After he takes my program, 3 to 4 clients, as you can see, it's like he can just take on as many as he wants. That was the terminology he actually used with me. He's just chasing that vein of gold. Jim, before he started, he went 12 months, no clients. He told me he took Russell Brunson courses, Mark Hooverson. He took the same program that I was in before, and he just couldn't land clients. Last month, he does $5,000. He's on track to hit about $10,000 in the next 15 days based off of all the trials he has going. And the only reason I know this is because Jim decided he didn't want to run his own ads and funnels, and he actually hired me to white label for him. So I run his ads and funnels for him, so I can see everything he's doing. This guy is crushing it in his agency. He's just going out and selling all day. And that brings me to an interesting point, guys. You have to think of yourself. You guys are struggling. Like I say all these things knows. You guys are struggling because you're digital marketers trying to sell. You will not make money until you flip that around and you're a salesperson who does digital marketing. You got to get that through your head. More effort needs to be focused on your sales than your digital marketing. Otherwise, you just won't land clients. You are a salesperson that does digital marketing, not the other way around. Talked with a really cool dude on, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday. He actually just joined the course. I think he might actually even be in here. I'm not 100% sure because I can't see the last names. I just see letters. But anyways, he joined the program. Anyways, he has been in marketing for a long time, but his product is changing. And so he's now joining the course to get better at digital online sales. But the point is that who knows, maybe 5 years from now, we got some goofy thing we're doing where advertisements pop out of the air or whatever. But the point is if you've learned how to sell today, you'll be able to keep going on. You'll be able to keep whatever the product is. It doesn't matter. Just like me, I become a digital marketer. Boom, I got sales because I'm a salesperson who just had to offer a product. That's the point. Oh, I missed Vlad. And Vlad, he had no clients before. He's actually got a 9-to-5 as an attorney. After only 5 weeks, he lands a $2,500 a month client with me, with my program. So guys, the best way, let's see here. Andrew says, learn to sell and outsource the rest. You can do that. Or if you're good at it, I keep my stuff in-house. It's up to you, however much you want to give away. So the best way to make this system work, guys, is to create a system that does not leave results up to chance. Now, I have an amazing system, and I told you at the beginning that I do have an offer, but you guys can do your own system, but you might not get there as quick. But I want to show you guys the insides, or actually first I want to show you guys what happens. This guy here, he just joined my program on Saturday, this past Saturday. He just sent me this message on Wednesday. Dude, I had another client call me back, set up an appointment. I said to him, you know, you're a beast, when's the appointment? He says, one tomorrow at 9 a.m., one next Tuesday at 11 a.m. The guy I'm meeting on Tuesday said he really needs someone to speed things up. Guys, the point is this stuff works. This program works. There's no doubt in my mind. I want to show you the inside of it. I'm super transparent because so many people, they get a course that's all hyped up and then they get into it and they're like, this, what in the world? I'm showing you guys the insides of my course. Almost like a book. Don't you want to breeze through the pages before you know if you're interested in it or not? In this program, I take you through all these different modules here, you know, starting your marketing, becoming a real digital marketer, not these one-trick ponies we see online all the time. Teach you the concept of funnels and ads. You already know this, but you probably get too technical. You need to know it in a way that people and clients will understand when you explain it. Learning the basics of sales. And then I get you guys started before your challenge. We start building out territories of prospects who can pay you, all this good stuff. Then we get into the client acquisition mastery. The meat and potatoes, which is what you see here. These are all 45-minute to an hour-long videos. It's a 2-month process. So the way you do it is you watch these videos, then 2 days later you watch these videos, then 2 days later you watch these videos. So the reason for that is because I don't want you just taking a course and then learning this information and sitting on it. You take the video, you go take action on what I just taught you. You watch the video, you go take action on what I just taught you. These here are just screenshots from some of the courses. Some of them are me standing in front of a sign trying to explain things to you. And some of them are me teaching you things about proposals, how to build them, how to offer, the psychology behind things. Like, it is impossible if you really follow everything that I teach for you not to land clients, as long as you do it to the T and you don't change things. So I want to show you guys here. And hopefully you guys are with me. Hopefully you guys understand. Does everyone understand, you know, what I got going on here? But I want you guys to look at where you're at, the highway you are on. Have you ever been to like a theme park? It says, this is, you are here. In order to know where you are here, you got to know where you're going to go. So it's important for all of us to be real with ourselves right now, because we all want to think we're successful. But most of us, well, I shouldn't say most of us, but a lot of people on ClickFunnels are really not, if you think about it. So look at the highway that you're on. Do you feel like this guy? Do you ever feel, I want you guys to say yes or no. Do you ever feel like this? Like you want to punch your fist? I saw a picture the other day of a guy who's got his fist through the screen. Like you see somebody's like, I just landed a $3,000 a month client. And you're just like, what in the world? You know, it's like, why are all these people seeing success and I'm not? You can fumble around, guys, and you can pray for success, which is what a lot of you guys are trying to do, just fumbling around. And I told you I was going to make you guys an offer. My formula to success. You can use my proven methods. I want to show you guys something here. Austin, he's a student signed up earlier this summer. He said, although there are methods to gain clients, and I've used a few of them, Ross's cold call script has been the most effective at helping me get more clients. It's basically the only cold call script I use today. By the way, I have started trying to look for clients who are already advertising and may already understand the importance of it, have a marketing budget, and I believe that this is important as well. I started looking to see if they have a pixel. So this guy's seeing success. Down here, day number 1, called all day and got 1 trial lined up. Another cold message, which I teach, is close to landing a landed trial, calling back some Kairos tomorrow, so some more potential. Day 1, that's results. To me, that's progress. You don't have, you know, it's about sustainability. Look at this one. Hey, Ross, I just want to give you some cool feedback. When I ran into trouble early on with my agency, I decided to outsource as much work as possible, and that helped me to build up. But recently, I was like, I should try some of Ross's tactics. Wouldn't you know, 10 calls, 3 clients landed. That's better than 20 in one trial. Think about that, guys. These methods, this stuff, you don't have to bang your head against the wall. I mean, you can, or you can get real help from proven methods. I'm telling you right now, every night, it feels so good to sleep without money issues. I lived so long with money issues, especially with a wife. I can't even explain how many nights I laid with my eyes wide open, wondering how I'd support or how I'd pay my bills, how I'd pay my rent. It's not even a thought anymore. Not even a problem. I got a kid on the way. I was excited, not even remotely scared about whether I was going to be able to support this new child. That, to me, that is just worth so much. And I want that for all of you guys. I want everyone to be able to sleep well, be excited to wake up, be excited to go help people, go film content. You know, you guys probably saw my live video earlier, you know, to go work with this chiropractor, to go talk to this client, build out this bot, you know, all these things. I want that for you guys. So the question is, do you guys want it for yourself? And if you guys are ready to be financially free, if you're there, stop playing around and start closing clients. I'm going to show you guys something, and this is for just specifically you guys on this webinar right now. If you guys have been hem-hawing around my program, whatever, this is just for you guys. If you're already a student, you can let these guys know about my content in here. If you're already in my program, you can let them know about it. But the normal pricing on this right now is $10.97. If you were to go to my website, that's what it costs right now for anyone who's not on this today. I just made a revision right before the webinar. So anybody who wants to get on will not only get it for, I had to do $9.96 because I couldn't stand another $9.97 course, for only $9.96. And I'm going to give you guys a whole year free of my mastermind group. Now, if just for the fact that you're still here, you're going to get a month free of it. But every 2 weeks, I put out insane videos. Like last night, we did a web class at 11 o'clock at night, all about generating free leads, free content. You'll see that. If you're here right now, you're going to see that when you get into that mastermind group later. Write down this if you have a pen right now. rosschristofoli.com/1-time-offer. It's set up, the page is set up to expire at 11 o'clock tonight. So if you want all this stuff, the page goes away at 11 o'clock tonight, and then it's going to go back to the 1097. For anyone who's watching this, you know, right now you get the better deal because it is going to go away. So I want to thank you guys for attending this. Thank you guys for still being here. Now it is question time. I like to answer questions for people. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to open up my video here. And I'm going to read some of these comments because I couldn't see all of them. And we'll go through, you know, I'll answer your questions. If you guys have questions, now is the time. Do it now, though, in the question box because I'm going to try to go back on the comments. So do it in the question box if you can. That way I make sure I'm answering this. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm just going back. He actually has a load of clients, not an agency, though. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, 3 weeks with an agency, had a mentor who rationally made mistakes. Oh, okay, I'm still there. Lucas Sparks, Ross, you're a beautiful boy. Glad to hear. I'm thrilled to begin my expedition. This is day one for my agency marketing community webinar and need. Dude, if you're still on here right now, you have such an advantage of not being stuck with the junk, the garbage that you're about to see. The Plastic Millionaire Guru. I love that. How much did you really earn without the website builds? Like I mentioned, it was about $4,000 without the website builds in the first month. You know, it was only 4 clients, and it's funny because I wasn't charging that much for the actual agency in the first month because I just wanted to get some sales under my belt, and I was kind of desperate at that time for money. So I was only charging about $1,000 to $1,200. Well, it was actually about usually $1,200. It's funny though because one of the clients I had offered an $800 thing to, and they didn't actually sign up until like a month ago, and I pulled out the proposal, I dug it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I quoted someone $800. Like that's not even worth my time. So I told them that I would still grant it, but it was going to be all off free traffic just because I wanted to live up to my word. But it was funny because in full transparency, that first month I was only doing it for about $1,000, $1,200, whatever. So just trying to see here real quick, going through some of these questions. Are you going to share slides for quick? Share the slides for quick reference. I can share the slide. I didn't think about that, but I could share those to you guys. I could do them in a PDF if you want them. Feel free to send it to me. Send me a message. It's a mental hurdle for me being in Jamaica and trying to prospect people in the U.S. I have clients in the U.K. And they're landing clients for people in the U.S. and in the U.K. There's no problem, man. You'll be able to do it. Let's see here. Ishwar, thanks so much, man. He says I'm a master at it. I feel like I'm good at sales, but I need to be better in ad creation. Man, that's the easy part. And if you're not landing clients, then you have to question whether or not you're really good at sales, because they haven't even seen you. If you haven't had a chance to run ads for people, then you have to really be, people think that just because they're outgoing, they're good at sales. That's, most salespeople have a hard time selling digital marketing. He says, I just wanted to get a rough indication. I know I'm desperate. Does this course include a free trial you offered on page 7-day trial with 0 ad spend? The mastermind group actually has that. Yeah, thanks, Scott. Have a good one. Scott's a Wisconsinite too. Yeah, the mastermind, Roger, actually teaches that, so you guys will see that. So let's hear. Do you close from your house? Car broke down. Most of my clients are actually outside of Wisconsin, so yes, most of them are done through a Zoom meeting where I'm talking to them just like this. Hario de la Rosa says, can you share, can you please add the link here? Yeah, let me do it. Ross, Krista, did I say your name right, by the way? /1-time offer. So I just submitted that. So you guys should have that up here. I'm going to put the link here just in case you guys need it again. 1-time offer. Do you cover finding new leads on LinkedIn in your course? You know what? I am not a huge LinkedIn guy, to be honest with you. I like LinkedIn, and I have been finding success with it. I might touch on it a little bit. It's not a specific module, but because you would get into my mastermind group if you want, if that's something you need help with, just let me know. And I actually have a friend who's an expert on LinkedIn, and I can pay him even to come in and do a little lesson in my mastermind group on finding leads. I'm sure he would do that, so we can do that. But I don't like to teach stuff that I'm not like an expert at. And I would say LinkedIn isn't something I'm an expert at. What I used to do is I'd go find the people on LinkedIn so I knew what they did as a profession. And then I would just go search for them on Facebook and talk to them there. So let's see. How do you see if clients are spending money? Had so many time wasters. I can't see if that's Pat from my program or if it's in the course or if it's a different Pat. But Pat, that's actually answered in the module of my course called creating a territory. So that's actually something that's answered in there. So hopefully that answers. So I think I answered most of these questions here. Let's see. Let me read. It says here, assuming you don't have the money to give free trials, how do you work around that? I answered that last night actually in the mastermind. So you can watch that tonight. And so you can watch that today right after this even, because if you go to that one-time offer, if you guys don't buy the course, make sure you still click on that link, because when you scroll down to the bottom of it, there's a spot that says, no, I just want the webinar goodies. You can click on that. You can download the template I promised you, as well as go ahead and join the mastermind group. Make sure that you, in the mastermind group though, that you message me and say, hey, I just saw the webinar or whatever, because I get a lot of people want to join the group, but I don't accept them if they didn't ask me. I'm unemployed. Are there any costs to sell a client with cold calls? No, there's not. Just your time. One thing that you'll have going against you, but it's not horrible, is that because what you'll have to do is you'll have to do free traffic. You'll have to do the tactics that you'll learn. If you scroll up to the top, Dave, where you see just a little bit higher, I actually typed it, rosschristofoli.com, one-time offer. But I'll post it again. But the thing is that you can actually you can actually get results with no ad spend. Bill, no questions, but I just want to say I've taken Ross's course, and I want to vouch that Ross is a genuine dude who knows his way around sales good stuff, especially around the mindset subject. Hey, thanks so much, man. And we got to hop on a call one of these days and catch up. He's down in the Illinois area, I believe, so he's not too far from me. We could get some coffee. So, guys, I want to thank everyone for joining, for being here. Thank you for all of your participation. If you could do me a favor, because there's 23 of you guys on here. Oh, thanks, Ishwar. If you guys would just go into my client acquisition mastery group and give me a shout out on the webinar, that would be absolutely amazing. It would help me out so much in the future. Lucas says, still here, my brother. Love the presentation. You seem to have this well on the way to mastery. I'm a guppy, but I'm a winged guppy ready to soar through around the sea of marketing. Very poetic. The download of info and technique into my brain was much appreciated. I don't have the funds to invest $900 or really anywhere close to the realm. Just unfortunately, I have plenty of passion and resolve, so I'd love to hear any steps, advice to getting started down this yellow brick road. So this is what I have to say to that, man. And hopefully this doesn't come off cocky, arrogant, because I love all you guys, and I want to thank you guys so much for being here. But when I got into this, I didn't have a product to sell. This is a little story for you. I didn't have a product to sell. So I took a course, and I wanted to learn how to run the ads, the funnels, and stuff like that. I knew how to sell, just needed a product. But I had $3,000 to my name. I have a wife, a son, and my monthly overhead is about $2,800 a month. And I did not have the money to take a program. What I did was I did it anyways. I got the program, and because I was in desperation mode, I landed all those the 4 clients first month. Now, if you're like, well, I don't even have it, I can't. It's not that I can't. When there's a will, there's a way. I do have I do accept PayPal. PayPal has a PayPal credit option. You can bust your butt this week and go land a client. You could still join my course, and you can still get in 1097 later on. But the point of the matter is if you can get in, then you're gonna just see that success so much quicker. It's a catch thing. Like, I want to help everyone. I want to, but what I found out is that I've been giving away so much for free that I kind of give away the farm. And so in order for the success of the program, so I can continue to invest in the course, I have to say that the best way to success for you then would be to find a way, because you got a lot of information now. You're going to find a lot of junk online. You're going to see a lot of people try to sell you on it, and they get you from the emotional level. You get all absorbed in it. It kind of stinks. My advice would be take a risk. When you take a risk, you get a reward. That's how it worked for me. My wife was like, I don't know why you're spending $1,000 when we only have $3,000 and you don't have any income because you just sold your business. I sold my business. By the time paying off all my stuff, I had hardly any money to my name. I said, I promise you I'm going to make this work. Actually, I wonder, I don't have my Expert Secrets book in this office. At the beginning of my Expert Secrets book, I literally put like a promise to my family that I was going to make this money back. And every time I would open that book, I'd see that there. And I actually, if you go into the ClickFunnels group, you can probably find an old post where I had taken a picture of it because I had come across it again. But it's like when you when you take a risk, think about any entrepreneur that's ever become successful. They had to take a risk at some point. They put themselves out there. They put everything that they had into something, hoping it's going to work. And for some people, it just blows up. The ones who will never see success are the ones that are scared to take the leap. Because what happens is when you jump, you have no choice to fly. It's like a bird pushing its little chicklet out of the nest. You have no choice but to spread your wings and get success. But the problem is too many people have been burned. They take a course and they just didn't see any success from it. Maybe they got a bunch of golden nuggets, but it didn't equate to dollars in their pocket. There's a reason why I chose client acquisition for a course, even though I know how to do Facebook ads and funnels like everyone else. And it's because this is the part that makes people money. And the problem is this, and I'm going to be honest with you, people procrastinate it. They procrastinate the sale. So what they do is this. Have you ever had a minor task, something simple, changing some photos around, something like that, and you keep putting that task off? And then what happens is eventually that task becomes feeling like it's impossible. But then when you're forced to do it, you're like, that wasn't that hard of a task. Why did it take me so long to do that task? It's the same thing with, it's just because our minds think, well, if we're putting it off, it must be hard. And then it becomes almost like impossible to do. And people are scared to land sales. So what they do is they do all these things, and then all of a sudden they do all these different things, and then all of a sudden, boom, they need to land sales, but they haven't been. And it's a wall because now it feels impossible. They procrastinated the sale. Says, have you ever considered offering a payment option over 12 months? I tried it. Problem with it was that I had a lot of people. I could show you right now. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to embarrass. Actually, I think I could do it without. Well, no, you'll still see the last 4 digits of a card number. How the people who I did that with, I still have like, every day decline, people just not paying it. So I don't do it anymore. I do have one option where people can get in for 4 months at $297 a month. So it costs a little bit more, but if some people can squeeze it easier, it's $297 a month. But it would be much better for someone to try to go apply for PayPal credit, get 6 months, 0 interest. So that way they're not stressed. They have 2 to 3 months to be able to really try to land some clients, and then they'll just be able to pay it off in one swoop. That would be the better way to do it, because then you're not, it's like you're not paying an extra $200, $300 to be able to do it. So, guys, I appreciate you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that everything was exactly what you wanted and that you benefited from it. I'm going to get rolling, but I hope you guys assess. I can't wait to work with you guys. I hope that you're excited to work with me. I hope that I get to. If you can find a way, when there's a will, there's a way. I truly believe that. If you can find a way to hop into this program, you will see success. It will just happen for you. Thanks, guys.